Ian's going out to Las Vegas, gonna have himself a party. Gonna bet on ponies, gonna play some pinball, gonna make Ian's heart on fire. I don't know. Welcome to the CU podcast.
Yeah.
For Wednesday, the special Wednesday edition, August 11th, 2021. Alongside partied out, 1 year older, fresh face Ian Ferguson.
This is me.
I'm the screw up Pat Conti because before we recorded this, I accidentally streamed a few minutes. I had to cancel it and re-record the intro. So you folks out there, you might have missed a different intro 3 minutes in.
So
anyway, Ian, how's it going? Repop the top on your polar seltzer and bother me.
Correct. It was a good weekend. It was my birthday. I was kidnapped and taken to Vegas by Vonnie and John, co-host of the
They hogtied you, they threw you in the trunk.
Extra Napkins podcast. They told me they were going to take me to a flea market, and I thought that's what we were going out there to do, just to see their new place so Vonnie could see it. Go to this flea market that's supposed to be full of all sorts of weird desert artists, and then we were going to go out to dinner, and we were going to record a couple episodes of the podcast. That's what we usually do. John usually comes down. I thought fair's fair. We can go up there for a week, a night and do some stuff, so he doesn't have to travel down. So we went there Saturday night, woke up Sunday morning, and they were like, all right. So we went and got breakfast at the place they told us we were going to get breakfast at. And they're like, all right, let's go to the flea market. And it took me like an hour to realize that we weren't going to a flea market. I was, sitting there looking out the window at all the neat desert stuff. And they were like, are you ever going to ask us where this flea market is?
In your mind, you didn't know that you weren't going towards the flea market.
Right. I mean, so the real reasoning for me being confused was it's the desert. It takes a while to get from place to place out there. Not everything is it's not like a city, where everything is on top of each other. So I was like, all right, maybe this cool flea market's, a far place away. A faraway place. Far place away.
What?
Far place away. Faraway place.
So you had never been to Vegas before, you told me?
Never been to Vegas.
Wow.
I had always wanted to go to the Pinball Hall of Fame. Vonnie wanted to take me last year for my birthday. We couldn't because of COVID, but we went this year. The Pinball Hall of Fame is an exceptional place. It's a new location. Everyone online's like, I haven't been to the new location yet, so I don't know how long this new location has been there. It used to be you'd have to take a bus or an Uber or a cab or something out there, but this is right off the strip. It's right by the MGM properties, and it is massive. It's particularly impressive if you like the electromechanical machines. Lots and lots of wedge heads represented there. And just fantastic. I went there twice. It was the first place we went. We went for a few hours, and then I'm going to break that beeper.
It was a good thing because it was a rescheduled meeting that
Oh.
Sorry.
So and I went for a couple hours the second night we were there. Highlights of it. I got to play Central Park, which is an old electromechanical machine.
Okay, play that one.
Fairly simple rules, but it's a very pretty machine. Seated in the back box is a visible bell, and there's a monkey. There's a little plastic monkey that hits the bell every time you score 100 points.
1966. Wow.
It's got a really fucking brutal drain though. If you look at it, it's got the small flippers. They're extra wide apart, and there's there's 3 rubber posts. So there's a lot of bumping and nudging that you have to do to keep that ball in play.
Oh, this is one of the old school ones where the flippers are small. And they're way apart from each other.
But this has got those little posts that you can.
Has a post in the middle
you can bump off of.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. I've gotten pretty good at the video pinball version of it over the years. And I was like, it's not going to translate. And I was actually able to keep it in play. I scored both specials on the machine.
There's 2 plungers?
No, just one. It's the old machines. They don't have automatic kickers. What that is, the ball's empty down there, and every time your ball drains, you push the one plunger in, and it pops the ball back up.
Gotcha.
Played the new Mandalorian machine. It was actually, I had a lot of fun with it. Way more than I thought I would have.
Is it a Stern one?
Yeah, it's a Stern one. But yeah, tons of great machines. Vonnie and I think the 2 machines we had the most fun with were Genesis, which is a
Phil Collins one?
Genuinely great machine. No, but you would probably know it if you saw it. It's got ridiculously awful.
You answered that seriously. No, it wasn't that one.
Really bad back art. but like the table art is
Genesis.
great and the sound is awesome. It's not like bad. It's just
Is
weird.
it like the Bible Genesis?
No, it's it's like the creation of life Genesis, but you're like building.
that's the Bible.
Yeah, but no, you're building it out of technology.
Oh, okay.
It's a very, very fun machine, and very old.
No, it's not the Bible Genesis. You're creating life. What?
I'm just saying that's why they use it.
Is this one with the mad scientist on the back?
It's got the mad scientist and it's got the 3 people and like just a ridiculous translite, but an absolutely great machine.
Who this was Gottlieb.
It's Gottlieb
like mid 80s.
Yeah, Gottlieb, mid 80s.
That's Gottlieb on it, not Premiere.
I thought I'd seen it with Premiere on there.
It says Gottlieb on the bottom of the front glass, whatever the fuck it's called.
And then Vonnie and I played a lot of Space Jam pinball too.
Oh, it says Gottlieb by Premiere.
Yeah.
But Gottlieb is front and center.
Oh, okay.
So though they're trying
it's the Premiere era of Gottlieb.
but it's okay.
So yeah, that was great.
Which basically means it's the one-off knockoff pinball machines that aren't like the Premiere properties. They look cheaper, but they're fun still.
Oh, they're really fun. I mean, Genesis is considered a great machine.
They all have pictures of people on those Premiere ones. They don't do like any art. They're all like pictures of like
it's funny because
muscle-bound men and women.
Anytime someone sees a Premiere machine from that era, they go, "What is this based off of?" Because it's real. It's a live picture on the back, but it's not based on anything. It's just an IP. But instead of art like most pinball machines, it's weird pictures of people in different getups. Because there's Gold Wings. That's the Top Gun ripoff one.
Gold Wings?
I think Gold Wings is what it's called.
There's a Rambo ripoff. It's an interesting time, we'll just say.
So that was really cool. Vegas, I don't need to tell people about Vegas. Everyone's either been to Vegas or will have their own experience with Vegas.
I haven't been 8 years.
Very interesting place. I had a good time. I would go back. There's definitely lots of off-strip stuff that we didn't get to see that I'd like to see. But the one thing that I do want to mention before we move on is it's known that I'm not really a gambler. I've talked on here about not being a gambler.
You say that, yet you invested in Dogecoin, but okay.
I mean, these are one-off gambles. Okay. I mean, these are gambles that I make sitting at night.
And you used to play poker. You gave it up a little bit. Okay.
Basically, I don't generally do slots. I don't do video poker. I don't do craps roulette. I don't do casino stuff. I used to play poker because it's a fun game, and money got involved. But it was never to gamble. The intent was never to gamble first.
Okay.
So like the entire time we were there, the 2 nights, I think I played 1 or 2 slot machines. Didn't play any cards, table games like that. But what I did fall in love with is the fake ponies. So there is a somewhat legendary machine called Sigma Derby that people love. I did not play Sigma Derby. Wish I could have. Sigma Derby was made by a company called Sigma. Electromechanical. Horses run around. Takes quarters still. You can place bets. There's 8 people. It's at an off strip casino called the D.
And it pays out in quarters?
I think that one pays out in
original,
quarters.
we're talking like decades old, from the 50s.
Oh,
or
it's
60s.
very old.
Okay.
Yeah. So people love it though, and no one had really filled that hole. So Konami in 2018 made their version called Fortune Cup Deluxe.
Okay, I'm gonna get a video on this.
Fortune Cup Deluxe. It is truly a Vegas sight to behold. It's just it's huge.
You got a video board with the odds.
It's a spectacle. You get a video board with the odds. So basically, you watch the actual free moving horses in the center. There's 8 of them, or you can watch the action on the big TV screen, which is all video. Yeah, the
legs move on the models.
Yes,
on the physical models. Wow.
And the action on the screen matches up perfectly with the action that's taking place in the center.
It's close. I'm looking. It's close. It's close.
You're watching. All the lead changes are the exact same, but you can watch from either place and get the same effect. And there's a giant board in the center of each station. There's 8 stations that show you. You can place win bets. And it shows you the odds. You can place. I can't remember what they call them.
Win, and show.
Place
first, second, third.
Place, win, and they call it something different.
Okay, but it's like you bet on first, second, or third. Maybe they can do like trifectas as well. I'm guessing.
You can do 2s. You can do 2s. You can't do the trifectas. So anyways, lots of fun. You put $20 in the machine. You make safe bets. You're going to sit there for 40, 45 minutes, even if you lose all of your money.
And it's like 30 seconds a race?
It's like 30 seconds a race.
And so you constantly betting money.
It's really fun. And like the people, if you're sitting there, they're going to start bringing you the drinks. So like, it's gambling, but like the whole experience of it is a lot more
communal,
fun.
right?
It's communal.
You got people betting on horses.
There's a lot of yelling and people getting excited. And even if you lose the $20 you put in or whatever you put in, you're probably getting 1 or 2 free drinks. And to me, that's an even bet. I'm happy with that. I would have spent that $20 sitting at a bar getting 2 drinks anyways.
Do all the horse strengths and weaknesses, like in odds, do they change race to race? They're locked in. How does that work?
I think they change. It moves fast, but they do series of races. I think they're 10 race series with the same horses, and they show you the stats as that series goes on, and then I think it resets every 10 races.
It'll like go back to default odds, maybe.
Yeah, I can't recall exactly.
Because if you're really,
it's something like that.
Because if you really get into horse betting,
Yes.
it would have to be the same odds on the horse.
Yeah, because there are certain times where like So anyways,
otherwise you just always bet on the favorite. The favorite always win, obviously.
So it's fun. I mean, both times we sat there, John and I hit long shot bets.
There you go.
You know, because you sit there, you play enough races, and you play enough of those 60s. You know, those 60 to 1 bets.
60 to 1 odds, like the horse that will just die.
You'll watch that horse eventually fucking cross the finish line, and the place goes nuts when
if you put $5 on it, you won $300.
So it's really cool. It was a blast. So the whole trip was great. And if you gamble, play Fortune Cup Deluxe. It's a real swell time.
So that was your birthday.
That was my birthday. Yeah, pinball and fake ponies.
The birthday, the ride ain't over yet.
Oh no. There it is. Yeah.
Put that on.
Is this the same hat as last year? Just for you. Happy birthday, whoop-dee-doo, whoop-dee-doo. May your day be pleasant. Open up your present just for you. Just for you. Happy birthday. Whoa! Thank you, sir. That is actually a great idea.
What is it, Ian?
Pat got me a massage gun because I'm an old broken man.
It's a Cairo gun.
Yeah, I'm excited to check this out.
And it even has an angled handle to get you at the back easier. You can twist it. There's an angle on it. So there you go, Ian.
Thank you, sir. I'm very excited about this. All right. My face is turning red from the song, though.
One more time. Just for you. Just for you. Okay.
Thank you, Banky.
All right. Got to do that. That's tradition now.
Yeah.
We'll keep it on here for the podcast?
Yeah, we'll keep it there for the podcast. That's fine. I'm
at least for the rest of the intro.
I'm gonna go home and use that immediately after this.
We got to pre-charge it.
Oh, okay.
I should have pre-charged.
I'll take a nap and then I'll use it.
There you go.
So,
you want to go on a cruise, Ian, for your next birthday?
Not this one.
You can go on the Disney Star Cruiser. The details of this were announced and revealed along with prices, and this is the peak nostalgic. I wish nostalgia didn't exist because this is the worst result of it sort of category. Okay, what this is, I originally heard about this. This is basically it's a two night thing where it's not a cruise. It's called the Star Cruiser. You go to a hotel that's mocked up to be like a voyage out in the solar system in Star Wars Galaxy Land, but everything is Star Wars themed. The restaurants, there's like a cantina bar. Your bedroom looks like a cruise, but it's Star Wars and futuristic themed. But you cosplay and go on an adventure during this. It's built around like a theme, like one of those like murder mystery dinner things, but it's a 2-day event where you do these events. And I'm guessing what happens during this, I'm not spoiling it, but I'm guessing your Star Cruiser gets taken over by the First Order, and then you have to fight back against it during it, and that's what this is about. And this is, I'm checked out. I've been checked out of Star Wars now for I think a couple of years. Boy, if I wasn't, I'd be checked out now of this. And I know Disney spent billions of dollars to get the Star Wars property, but this is not the way I think you should be making your money back on this.
The price is concerning. It's something like $5,000.
It's between $4,000 and $6,000, depending upon how many people go. I guess you get a slight discount overall for more people, but this is expensive. Expensive. It's going to cost you like, we'll say $2,000 a night. We'll just say that's what it's going to cost you.
So I'm out of Star Wars. I realized that I don't think I was ever really in Star Wars. It's the same thing that I always say about people. If all you really liked was the original trilogy, and you constantly hate on all the other movies, then you're not a Star Wars fan. You're not a fan of the whole series. You're a fan of the first 3 movies. It's ridiculous to call yourself a fan of something that you hate 2/3 of. I think the idea is I like heavily themed things. I don't like Star Wars, but I will say, and I think I talked about it on here, when I went to Disney with Vonnie 2 years ago or whatever, I think for her birthday. Our friend was in town. We went to Galaxy's Edge, and even though I don't care about Star Wars, I thought the theming was fantastic. It was very fun to walk around and look at and see. I mean, they did a good job of it. I have faith in their theming here. I just have no interest in it because of the property. And also, I don't like it sounds like you are going to be led around by the hand for the majority of this, and that sounds exhausting.
This is what you get for it. And we don't usually talk about stuff like this, but this is how weird this is. Okay, so it's here's the sample standard cabin rates. This is the standard. This is the cheapy ones. It's the Halcyon, which is it's the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. So you get 2 guests per cabin, is $1,200 per guest per night, or $4,800 total. So that's going to cost you $2,400 a night for 2. If you go 2 adults, 1 child, it's almost $900 per guest per night, or $5,300. So they're almost encouraging you to bring along a child. Probably can't get away with 3 adults. They'll probably won't allow that. And then 4 guests, which can be 3 adults, 1 child. That's a weird set. Was a throuple with a kid. $750 per night, or $6,000 total. So obviously the price goes down with 4 people, but this is 2 nights still. 2 nights. You can go on a real cruise for this amount for 7 days, like a real actual cruise going somewhere.
Yeah, it's just an obscene amount of money.
Yes. The pricing, though, does include an entry to Disney's Hollywood Studios and Galaxy Edge on day 1 of your journey. So what? You disembark, I guess, and go there. You get 2 breakfasts, lunch, and dinner meals per guest, 1 quick service. No, is that every day or just over the 3 days? If that's over 3 days, that's ridiculous if they don't include food. Because cruises include food. They don't usually include drinks. So you get like a voucher, but
yeah, that better include the food every day. Every fucking day.
I don't think it is. It says 2 breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals per guest. If it's every day, okay, you're covering me for 2 meals, and then you get a quick service meal, which I guess means you pick up a little salad from the front desk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a little sandwich ready to go. Valet parking and exclusive Galactic Star Cruiser Magic Band. What? Oh, Magic Band. You get a band. And so from what I was reading about this is that I guess during this cosplay experience, I guess there's going to be a takeover or something, because you can side with either like the Rebels or the First Order, which makes this extremely weird. If you could side with the totalitarian regime.
I'd like to cosplay genocide for a while. Like, what the fuck?
I know there's this romantic thing about Kylo Ren and stuff, but he's a mass murderer. So like, you don't want to side with that guy. You don't want to idolize Kylo Ren. I'm gonna have all the people that come after me now.
You can like villains and appreciate villains,
sure.
but I do think it's a little weird when people overly identify with the villains in something. People who decide to put like Empire tattoos on their body, it's like,
now you're going after Yoshi, but okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. I love you, Yoshi. Now I'm a little concerned.
Well, yeah, I like Yoshi, but
don't kill me.
The second night, there's a taste around the galaxy, showcasing courses inspired from locations and planets from Star Wars. What are you gonna have, that Tatooine unleavened bread? Like, what are you gonna have? What do you mean it's inspired by? The Droid Factory cupcake?
A glass of moisture from the farms?
Yeah, that blue milk that Aunt Beru has.
You can get the blue milk at Disney.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Is it actually milk?
I know. I think it's like some sort of fruity fucking thing. It's probably like a Calpico or one of those like yogurt-based drinks.
The first night has the Crown of Corellia dining room. Will transform into a table service supper club with a special musical appearance by a galactic superstar. Oh, we're gonna get those guys from the Cantina band
playing jizz.
Well, God, Fingering Don and the Modal Nodes. How do I remember that? I had the single. That's why. You can get Fingering Don and the Modal Nodes. The guys. you know, do 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 do, or the Max Rebo band from Return of the Jedi. We're gonna get there. They show the food here. It looks fancy. You got because they got these poor chefs have to make fancy looking food. I guess that to resemble, you know, another galaxy.
That music is literally called Jizz.
What, Finger and Down on the Modal Notes? There was two. They had two. They had a B-side. There was an A. There was two songs.
Jizz, Pat. Jizz. Come.
But I like Finger and Down on the
Semen.
Modal Notes. I got this single I bought when I was like 18 somewhere.
Love it when Finger and Don fucking gets his jizz out in the room. Jesus Christ. The names in Star Wars.
You got a fuzzy on your mic, which is bothering, by the way, right there. That's just bothering me. The audience can see it. Birthday fuzz.
Anyway.
Guests will be able to join the First Order or the Resistance. What? Why? How is that an option? Why is that an option? You know the stormtroopers are based upon, you know, the stormtroopers that were in Nazi Germany, right? Like that's where the name comes from. You know, they were like the brown shirts and they helped the rise of
it's not the other way around. They didn't name them that after the Star Wars movie.
That comes from that. They were the Storm, they were called the Storm something, like in 1930s Germany. Like that's where it comes from. Then I guess some of the troops had that name as well, I think. But my God, it's fucking bizarre. You'll run into new and familiar characters like Rey, Kylo Ren. I guess you can shake hands with, hey, Kylo, how's it going? Killing tons of people and blowing up planets.
Figrin Dan. I thought you said Fingrin Dan. Figrin Dan.
Figrin. Figrin. Like
Figrin.
And the modal nodes.
And the modal
There's like 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were figures of those back in the day. They came out with figures eventually.
They play a genre of music called...
Guests will be able to become a Jedi and wield a lightsaber. So I guess I picture this with, it'll be a bunch of kids, some adults, dressing up as Jedis, waving around their lightsabers they just bought in the shop right outside of this hotel, or in the hotel, and just waving them around for 3 days straight. I would love to see how many of these people that actually do this are actually adults that are dragging their kids to do this, that grew up with Star Wars, or the kids actually. Because I picture there's going to be this point in time where it's gonna fade away from kids, and it's going to be mostly older and older adults, Gen X and millennial adults that are going to be in love with this sort of idea and try to get their kids into it.
Yeah.
The same way my father dragged me to Williamsburg, Virginia, I can picture some parents dragging their kids to this shit. They're gonna be like, I want to go on the rides. I want to go on Space Mountain. I want to go on the log flume. No. We're gonna fight off the First Order in this hotel experience. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, that's a lot of time we've spent on that. It sounds awful, like a no good time, and we're gonna move on.
But you have a great time at UltimateNintendo.com.
You will have a great time at UltimateNintendo.com.
You can buy plenty of birthday presents for folks, certain NES and Super Nintendo guidebooks, RBI baseball stickers that has a hat on it right now. Enamel pins, my big head, or the CU podcast enamel pin, and more stuff there. You can't buy a Cairo gun though.
No, I'm so excited for that.
I see. I'm not horrible.
Very excited.
I'm also going to be on. No, I was just on Twitch yesterday. I was on Twitch, but usually Wednesday nights, twitch.tv/CountryCode. You can go check there and check out, what I did watching 80s commercials, or maybe a 3-minute stream unintentionally of the first part of the podcast that I probably deleted by now. And I'm also on Cameo, cameo.com/PatCountry for all your birthday shout out needs. Pac-Man brunch, Ian.
God, I love these. I love these so much. So, Pac-Man. So, blind box figures are popular. They have really lasted a good amount of time.
Like my yoga cat.
Yeah.
It's a blind box thing, right?
Vonnie loves them. Blind box toys, you all should know what they are. If not, they're usually like $10 to $15, and you pull them out of a larger carton, and the carton generally shows you all the different things you could get. And there's usually a couple chase ones, and it's usually different yoga poses. I have yoga aliens.
This is the one I wanted, by the way. Remember, I said this is the one I wanted, and I got it. What's the odds of that? Well, 1 out of 6.
So these Pac-Man ones are just cute Pac-Man food-themed ones that show Pac-Man and the ghosts in various situations.
Namco, I got to give you credit. I didn't think 41 years later we can still be monetizing Pac-Man this much, but you figured it out.
You've really figured it out.
I thought it was dying out with Professor Pac-Man in like 83, but you've figured it out. You figured it out. You got your Pac-Man barcade, Pac-Man tabletop games, which are fantastic, which are all the rage, and you got these cute little toys of, I guess, ghosts eating pies and fruits and cocktails and I don't know what's happening at
Waffles.
this brunch.
Here's an Eggs Benedict one where Pac-Man has some hollandaise on his head.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay,
Yep.
I'm all in on that Eggs Benedict. I didn't see that one.
And then here's Pac-Man with a pepper shaker holding it over a frying pan with an egg. They're adorable. So if you like your Pac-Man,
and the egg that Pac-Man is cooking, the yolk is Pac-Man shaped. That's the attention to detail I want, Namco. There you have it. And these are $12 each. How many in total are there here? 9.
It's usually 9. I'm guessing
They're 3 inches.
Guessing one of those is probably a chase, and the other ones are.
There's gonna be limited variants.
Yeah.
So it looks like randomly inserted throughout the production run. So this is a form of gambling as well, because they want you to get
blind box always are, and
yes.
then you can definitely sell the chases for money.
Yes. But they don't reveal what they are. I guess they're going to randomly just do ones that keep you buying these at $12 a pop for a 3-inch vinyl. Wow.
The way people do this, they usually buy a box and then they get everything they want. If you're
you can sell off sets then, I guess.
You sell off your extras and shit like that.
Do you make your money back on selling off the sets though? Probably not.
Not really, but it takes it down to a price where most people find it reasonable.
So now I'm only spending $15 on each one instead of $30. You know, to get get
$50 to get the set instead of however much. Big news! Big news! Big news! This got me so fucking excited yesterday.
Jesus Christ, Ian.
There's we know that there's a sequel to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming.
Unfortunately, yes.
One of the greatest movies ever made.
Top grossing movie of 2020.
Not one of the greatest movies ever made, but honestly, a damn fine attempt at a video game movie. One that I enjoyed watching thoroughly. The second one's coming. It was shown in the post credits thing at the end of the first movie that Tails would be in it. And everyone pretty much assumed that Knuckles was going to be in it, but that was confirmed. And
is that too much? Is that too many characters to add at one time? Both of them?
No, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. Idris Elba is doing the voice of our beloved man, Knuckles,
world's sexiest man, Idris Elba.
That's right, Knuckles the Echidna. I couldn't be happier, and that's one of the things that's weird about this movie. We've got it was weird in the first one to have Jim Carrey in it. It's even weirder in the second one to have Jim Carrey and Idris Elba, like two actors with some credit to their name. Also, James Marsden. Is that his name?
Yeah.
James Marsden. And
why is it weird?
Ben Schwartz. It's weird that there's
real people. Plus, Idris isn't acting in a suit. He's going to be just doing the voice.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like 5 days of work at most. 4 days. He does the lines. He gets his paycheck and he leaves.
I think it's fun. Everyone was very excited about it yesterday. Everyone was very happy that Idris Elba is going to be portraying Knuckles.
I'm happy you're happy, Ian.
Yeah,
when is this coming out? Next year?
Yeah, 2022. Might be the first movie I see since the first one, because there's nothing coming out that I'm really interested in seeing.
Maybe it's hopefully starts the pandemic and ends the
pandemic. Yeah,
sure. Which probably won't happen because no one's getting their vaccinations.
The full Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 arc.
There you go.
Soulja Boy console. You want to talk a little bit about Soulja Boy?
Yeah, Ian. Why not? I mean, it's not randomly put on our list of topics to talk about here. Soulja Boy console. Remember, he tried to just do knockoffs of AliExpress stuff.
Yep.
This he announced on Twitter. The Soulja Boy Game Edition is looks like recolored and silk screened Retroid Pocket.
Yeah. So Retroid Pocket with the color changed, and it says Soulja Boy Game Edition on the back. Which doesn't make any sense to me. His names for his products fucking blow. The first one was going to be called the Soulja Game console. This one is the Soulja Boy Game Edition. Game Edition, the edition of what? This thing plays games. What is it in an edition of, Soulja Boy?
Well, it's got his logo on it.
Game Edition. It should be Retroid Soulja Boy Edition. You get what I'm saying? The naming doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense.
What does TRDR mean on that? I don't know.
I don't know. And I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Let me just say how much I do not like the button layout on the Retroid. Now I'm looking at it.
No, it's miserable looking.
It's angled up to the right when it should be down to the right.
So this is the Retroid Pocket. The actual Retroid looks a little bit better. It looks kind of similar to the Anbernac. It's one of the side ones that looks like almost like just a rectangle.
What do you mean it looks a little bit better? It's the same design looking at it.
No, you're not. There's The Soulja Boy Game Edition is a copy of the Retroid Pocket.
Yes.
I'm talking about the actual Retroid. There's a
Oh,
Retroid,
there's an actual Retroid.
which is basically the side orientation of it, and the Retroid Pocket is the vertical orientation of it. The actual Retroid looks much better.
And people buy these load up with ROMs.
Yeah.
So okay, the Retroid looks more like a Game Gear. Got it.
Yeah, so I think the big difference this time is the first one that he was trying to sell that never got anywhere was loaded up with ROMs.
Sure.
It was one of those Xbox-looking consoles that was just loaded up with ROMs. This, as far as I can tell, is not loaded up with ROMs. It just boots to Android, and you can put whatever the fuck you want on it.
Wait a minute. The Retroid Pocket 2 is the game. So the 2 is the bigger one. The original Retroid Pocket is...
okay.
Okay, that's we got
There
confused.
you go.
The Retroid Pocket is the smaller Game Boy. The 2 looks like a Switch, basically.
There's two versions. I just didn't remember the names of
How
them.
dare you not know these fucking semi-knockoff handhelds, Ian?
So, yeah, there it is. Way to go, Soulja Boy.
Now he's probably going to do an upcharge. He probably got in touch with them and said, "Hey, I'll do a version of this," and maybe they said, "Okay, for a lark, we could put some together and produce some." I guess I don't know.
So he put it out in literally the...
Unless you get them on AliExpress, can you get these on AliExpress, like ones like this? I mean, sorry, go for it.
Probably. Actually, these might be slightly more expensive. These might be like the more name brand type ones. But yeah, so there it is. It's bad. Everyone in the replies to his Twitter post basically made fun of it. And
But he made news. We're talking about it.
Yep.
All right. Well, maybe he had a deal worked out there. But who would just do a limited edition of a handheld? Who would actually do that? I wonder. You got to be weird to want to do that.
Yeah.
GameStop is going to rebrand the EB Games stores in Canada to GameStop. I guess they were holding on to the EB Games brand in Canada, but I guess they realized, hey, we got a meme stock and we got crap going on here. Why don't we just get rid of the EB Games brand? Hell, they still got Toys R Us, real Toys R Us in Canada. So like Canada is like a different world entirely here. So this came from the decision follows our receipt of feedback from our valued customers and stockholders. Customers don't mean shit in this case. It's the stockholders. They probably realized, yeah, we want to capitalize on the meme shit. I don't understand like how this was going to move the needle at all, changing the name. If you're used to your EB Games, you know GameStop owns it. That's not a secret for fucking over 20 years, or 20 years at this point. I don't know.
Oh, just
it's
to
bizarre.
fucking do something just so someone can say they did something at work that day. Oh, I changed all the names.
Change all the money. Now you got to change all of the signs, waste money on that, and change all the shirts of the employees to be GameStop. Or, you know what I mean?
I understand brand unity, but I just don't feel like it's really necessary at this point. It's not going to help them any.
No, it's when you walk in,
you should have done it when you bought all the stores.
It's still a GameStop.
Yeah.
I mean, their website is ebgames.ca. I just looked it up. That's how they're known, I guess, up there. I guess that's how they're like known. There probably were still EB Games logos on some stores, probably in the U.S. at some point. They figured, what the hell? We're not going to just change it to GameStop. When you walk in, it says GameStop. You know, what's the point? You know, so that's weird. That's weird. You know what's really weird, though, Ian?
This absolute idiotic fuck. Dr. Disrespect is starting a game studio.
A game dev studio.
This is what happens when you put people with marginal talents this is so annoying. So the studio's purpose is to partner with mega influencers and build their dream game. So
Guy Beam is looking to launch his own game dev studio because I guess his show went kaput. According to a job posted listed on his Champion Club's website, it's a major but in some ways unsurprising move for the streamer. Considering he used to work at Call of Duty developer Activision as a level designer before deciding to spend his life wearing a wig and sunglasses. Thank you, PC Gamer, for calling it what it is.
Yes. And it's never not ridiculous to me. And yes, I know he's very rich. More rich than I'll probably ever be, but that doesn't mean I have to respect him because I don't.
Oh, his name is Dr. Disrespect. He's inviting the disrespect.
Good.
Right there.
This is how this is going to go. We're going to get a demo of something. Maybe. It's going to look real bad. Probably never going to see anything from this ever again.
You think so? I go the opposite way. We're going to get a couple of games that these influencers are involved in pushing. They're going to be shit.
Yeah, well, okay.
And then people realize that I just got fleeced.
This does not have legs. We're either going to get a demo that looks really, really bad and they quietly don't do anything with it, or we're going to get one Fortnite killer from Ninja and it's gonna suck.
I don't think Ninja's gonna do that. Ninja's, I hate to say it, Ian, Ninja is smart because he's partnering with everyone. He's partnered with Fortnite. He has a character in Raid Shadow Legends, so like he's getting his money that way. That's the smart way to do it. Doing your own game is not the route. I think
Has he partnered with Tops?
Papa John's for a pizza?
Has he partnered with Crayola? Anyway, I just think this is dumb, and it's what happens when you let marginally smart people huff their own farts for long enough.
Well, it's another way to monetize your business. This PC Gamer writer, what's their name here? Steven Messner says, I can't help but be skeptical. There's a potentially big gulf between a dream game concocted by a popular Twitch streamer and something that's actually playable, fun, and commercially viable. I mean, he's got a leg up. If he worked on level design, at least he's been around the industry at some point. Doesn't mean, though, you can come up with your own game, have a great idea, and then go through all the levels of execution, getting the right people working on it, keeping it on budget. I mean, these are not the same.
You can play a lot of video games and not understand how to design a good video game.
Sure.
You can write music for a bunch of video games and not understand how to make a video game system.
I almost think the cynical Pat's going to say they're going to have probably people come to influencers with ideas. Like they're going to say, okay, think of a game for our influencer to get behind, and we can add our bits and pieces to it, and then we'll push it. I think that's probably what's going to happen here, which is smart. We'll get some indie games that the influencer say, yeah, I helped design this game, when it was like they did like an hour meeting once. I didn't work on it again until the marketing came. That's probably what's going to happen. I mean, it's transparent, but it'll work. We've seen influencers make games. We've seen our friends made a game.
Oh, yeah.
Dating sim game. So, like,
I think it can absolutely happen. I just don't have any faith in mega influencers or Dr. Disrespect.
What makes you a mega influencer? Is it like a mega fauna? It's got to be like really giant. Like what's the cutoff? Is that 1 million? Is a million subscribers is like nothing on YouTube anymore, I think, at this point. It's got to be 5 million.
You have to film in a men's bathroom to become a mega influencer.
Is that what it is? You got to film?
Yeah.
You got to get kicked out of E3.
Got to be a motherfucking weirdo.
Okay. That's is that on the job description? You gotta have your deal rescinded from your
Never gonna let that one go.
No, I don't think you can let filming in a bathroom.
No,
adults and children in there, by the way, and filming that.
No, that's not a mistake. That's someone who thinks they're living their fucking character, and there's no repercussions for them.
No, that's bad. That's bad. Twitch never specified why it subtly terminated Beam's Twitch account, despite Beam telling us in an interview that he had done nothing to violate his multi-million-dollar exclusivity deal with the streaming platform.
I'm gonna guess it's because he's a gross fucking weirdo.
Well, plus they realize it's like, we don't need you. we got Ninja back. We don't need you anymore. We don't need to pay you the money. That's probably what happened. And if you thought there was nothing done harmfully, you can always try to sue Amazon. I guess I get that money back, but he probably realized that, hey, they can probably sue me with, they probably terminate me without cause. And his lawyer probably said, yeah, this contract probably says I can get rid of you at any time if it wasn't. So.
Moving on from the Champions Club. Let's.
You don't want to be in the Champions Club, Ian? Should we have a See You Podcast Club and call it something?
No. My least favorite thing is when people name their fans. I can't stand it. I think it's the fucking dumbest shit.
You don't live that influencer life, Ian, do you?
It's fucking weird. It's a weird control thing. Oh, my Champions Club. Fucking weird.
It's marketing, Ian.
I don't care. It's disgusting.
That's how you get to be an influencer millionaire.
They're people.
And don't you want to do your own game studio with mega influencers involved?
Ugh.
You don't want to do that, Ian. You're not cut out for this, Ian, for the influencer life.
No, I'm not. It's way too sleazy.
CBD isn't about what you feel. It's about what you don't feel. Stress, anxiety, pain. I've used CBD in my life when I feel a little anxious, to help me get to sleep when I feel restless sometimes. CBD is a safe, natural method to relieve pain, nervousness, and sleeplessness without harmful side effects. And Feels is a better way to feel better.
So you might be wondering, what is Feels? What's CBD? It makes you feel better naturally and helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. Feels is very easy to take. It's a tincture. You just put a few drops under your tongue, let it sit there for a little while, and you start to feel better naturally almost instantly. If you're new to CBD and you have some questions, you can get real human support at Feels. They have a hotline that you can call to help get personalized treatment and to help your experience. Feels works naturally to help you feel better. There's no hangover or addiction. Get yourself into a self-care routine that's actually healthy and works well for you. You can join the Feels community to get Feels delivered to your door every month, and you'll save money on every order. You can pause or cancel anytime with no penalties or commitments.
Start feeling better with Feels. Become a member today by going to feels.com/CU podcast, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's FEALS.com/CU podcast to become a member and get 50% off automatically on your first order with free shipping. Feels.com/CU podcast. Speaking of sleazy, Ian, we had big news happen recently.
Big news. We only need to do it once.
Last week, there was an announcement. We knew it was coming. The Intellivision Amico is a proposed console that was set to come out October 10th, 2020. We're recording this on Wednesday, August 11th, 2021.
Do we really have to go through the intro
10 months later,
again?
there might be someone new to this. 10 months later, this console is not out. Now, it's been officially delayed now for the third time. Originally, it was delayed until April 2021. Then they delayed that until October 10th, 2021. And now there's been another delay that happened on Friday. Late Friday, August 6th, dropped at midnight Saturday morning. So like midnight Pacific time. So literally a Friday night news dump to announce your third delay.
Talk about cowardly.
We got to take this festive hat away for this topic, right? Sorry, Ian. This isn't a festive topic right now for Ian's birthday. So we'll go through the announcement here. This is obviously not a shock to anyone that's been following this at all, because
it was a shock to some people, and I was surprised.
Really?
I was surprised to see it as a shock to some people.
Okay,
I'm talking about people in the Amico fan community. There were some people who really thought this thing was going to be coming October 10th,
which I guess is to the credit of Tommy being able to string people along, including his investors, which we'll get into, about not delaying something officially when we know months ago is not possible of coming out. And this is the same thing we said last year when they did the pre-orders in March. By April or May, you knew that console wasn't coming out last year. You have to have your console ready to go, nothing out of the ordinary, no looking for parts, no FCC compliance issues, everything good several months ahead of your launch. It has to be 100% just about buttoned up. You got to be buttoned up.
All right, so read the announcement or do the announcement parts that we got to start dissecting this.
We're gonna go through the announcement first right now. There was a double send. I get these sent double. Initially, especially on Atari Age, there was a paragraph repeated during the announcement. Real professional PR. We've seen spelling errors and grammar errors as well. On Atari Age, it was posted with a double paragraph, but whatever. The team at Intellivision has been working tirelessly to bring Amico, our family-focused entertainment system, to eager households around the world.
Fun.
We've grown to a stable and strong company of more than 60 passionate team members spanning 3 continents, representing some of the industry's best talent, 600 years of talent. They were making games back in the Middle Ages. Did you know that? All of us are extremely excited to share Amico with you. We originally planned to launch Amico in the fall of 2020, but had to adapt during the midst of the global pandemic disrupting our production. They haven't adapted yet. If they adapted, it'd be out by now.
Yes, they have not. They have very clearly failed to adapt.
Despite our best efforts and now facing new unprecedented international component supply and logistics challenges beyond our control, we want to apologize as we are forced to push our desired launch yet again. Okay.
I want to first say real quick, what was the line? They've done everything in their ability basically to do this. They haven't. It's been said that there was an opportunity to get these made, but it was more expensive.
The word was this. The word on the streets are saying this, that they could have locked down components for this console pre-pandemic, but the decision was made by the CEO, Tommy Tallarico, to put it off in the hopes of getting better prices. Then the pandemic happens. Now it's hard to get some of this stuff, and now your profit margins now are less and less.
Better prices on profit margins he had already spoken about being ludicrously high.
Yes.
This is pure greed. This is greed.
They're making their money off their console here.
This is not something people do.
Almost never in the history of consoles are you making almost all your profit off of the hardware, not the software here, especially for a new console. So he bragged about, oh, this is why our retailers are going to like us, because we're making a huge profit margin on these consoles versus the other hardware out there like the Switch and the PS4 and 5s, and, you know, like where there's like minimal.
This is something that always has rubbed me the wrong way, that he thinks this is something any of us need to care about.
No. It makes you look worse.
The bragging about the profit margins the retailers are going to get just shows that you actually don't care about what happens to this once it gets into people's hands.
You don't care about the consumers at all. If you care about the consumers, you try to do a reasonable profit margin. I'm not saying you can't make any money, but to gouge the consumer and brag about it means you're just greedy. You're not just greedy. You're setting this up for a strange expectation, and then you get attacked because, remember, this was supposed to be $150 to $180 originally.
Yes.
Now, when you balloon in price over $100 more, you can't explain it away, because now it's just like, well, we want to make the money up front.
Right.
Not on the software. We want to make the money on the hardware to make sure we have your money.
You want the optics of being a big boy toy that can compete with the big boys, so it's got to cost that much.
Which is also strange, because you'd think that selling your console at a smaller profit, not saying you got to take a loss, obviously you're a startup, you'd have your customer probably be more willing and have extra cash to buy the software on top too. So it's almost like you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to have less people buy it overall, but now they're going to have less money to buy the software anyway. And if you have less software support, you have less devs then that are going to make games for your platform. So it's a really short-sighted, stupid, and I mean idiotic business decision to jack the price of your console by nearly 100%. Also, in this time period of this global pandemic where there's tons of part shortages, the Atari VCS has shipped, which some people thought would never ship. Analog just got restocks of the Super NT and the Mega SG in August. They produced that this year. The Analog Pocket's set to come out. The Playdate is being produced.
The Pocket is the only thing I would not use as an example because we don't know yet. But
Playdate's coming out.
The Playdate, the restocks.
Steam Deck is being produced.
Switch
OLED is coming out this year. Xboxes and PS5s are still being made, not in the quantity you want, but there's still millions being made.
So this is what I need to say real quick about.
And the Evercade Versus.
And all things made of various components. Some people have said it's mostly screens, but you can see stuff like the Evercade, and granted it's a 1-bit screen, but stuff like the Playdate coming out with a screen on it, the Steam Deck having a screen on it.
Most of the stuff has screens on here. There's screens.
The one thing I want to point out is the apologist stance that I constantly see put out there. Well, it's understandable, Tommy. I mean, look at Sony and Microsoft. You can't find their stuff on shelves either. Here's the truth about that. Sony has already sold 10 million PlayStation 5s. You know why you can't find it? Yeah, they wish they could be putting out more, but because it's popular. They still had to be able to produce 10 million of them to sell that. The fact that you cannot find it on store shelves does not mean that they are having grand supply line issues that would excuse what the Amico is going through, because they made 10 million of them. The Amico has made 0.
Sure. And here's the thing about delays. And you can say, yes, hey, Pat, the VCS has been delayed. Well, I even left off the Poly Mega, who knows if that ships next month. They're supposed to. The fact of the matter is, as a company like Analog or some of these, if they do a delay or Playdate, they don't announce then a date until they're pretty damn sure it's locked in and good. They're not going to go through this bullshit of stringing you along, because they're professional companies that realize it looks bad to keep having multiple delays and to keep missing ship dates.
Well, the problem is yes, and you have to do that early. Sure. They did not do that early with this. So this announcement closes with them promising to attempt their best to get as many pre-orders into the hands of people as they can by the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll go back to this email.
The founder editions, which is
ludicrous.
Okay, so they were kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't here. But by not announcing a date at the third delay, it looks real bad. That says we have no idea what's going on.
This is indefinitely delayed.
However,
they can't say that though.
By using the language, because he's got to put something in there to make it seem like they're going to get them soon. He says by the end of the year for these pre-orders, for some of these Founders Edition pre-orders, if those don't ship, that will truly kill this.
But they have enough time to string you along, maybe do another round of investment.
Get your money.
Get your hopes up. Because now people, I see these poor folks, and seriously, my heart goes out to people who actually want this console. My heart goes out to the people, and the investors we'll get into. The people that put their $100 down last year, it's supposedly around 10,000, 13,000 people, if you go by the FIG numbers that pre-orders. They're getting strung along, and now they're at a point where, wow, I hope I get this for Christmas. You ain't getting it for Christmas. It had to be in production already to get it for Christmas.
The amount of optimistic people who we hope to have pre-orders out by the end of the year as you will have your system by Christmas was upsetting because they're going to be let down.
Yes.
The one I saw a couple that were like really rosy. Like one was literally something along the lines of like, "It's okay, Tommy. By Christmas sounds great." You put those words in their mouth because you are now having doubts too, and you're trying to convince yourself that you're actually going to have this by Christmas.
Go back to the email. In spite of these supply hurdles hampering our ability to fill our orders, we are focused and determined to deliver pre-ordered units by the end of the year. This will also give us more time to optimize our operating system for future game development. Okay, once again, I'm not saying that they're not having problems getting components. They probably are. They probably don't want to spend more than they have to get them, even though they're bleeding money running a company and paying employees.
They're having problems with parts. That's not the only problem. It's never been the only problem, and that's what I've been saying and you've been saying for a year.
It's what's under the hood. It's firmware. It's software. It's OS. It's probably servers probably aren't even done yet. To connect to leaderboards and stuff. We know that the packing games aren't done because the CFO said they're still finalizing 10 or teens of games. This is a console these games should have been finalized over a year ago, and they're still working on them. So this actually, in a weird way, buys them more and more time, even though they're bleeding money, to actually finish the software and firmware dev that's hampering them.
Right. I believe that there could be part issues.
They admit it here, that you're still optimizing your OS almost 10 months after your first launch date was missed.
But I think and really I'm just repeating myself at this point, but this is really what I want to focus on. And this is where people who are so enamored with him need to be asking the questions. He will tell you all day long that if the parts were available, this would have released on time last year. It wouldn't. That's why controls are still being worked on for Cornhole. If he could turn this system on and show you the environment, if this thing was anywhere near production, he could turn one on, show you the environment, show you how the store worked, show you the menu system.
Yeah, direct feeds, like direct footage from the console.
This was anywhere near shipping. Review units would be, not review units, but demo units would be sent out. They wouldn't have to be small gatherings at a Crayola experience where he's there watching everything. The video of him shaking the 4 controllers,
trying to get one to work,
trying to get one to connect or sync up.
The streets are also saying that yes, obviously we see it in our eyes that the controllers are an issue, dropout issues, connectivity issues, battery issues. We see it with our own eyes in these videos. There's something going on.
Yeah,
there's something going on with these awful.
And when
controllers.
Confronted with stuff like that, some of these people are saying, literally saying, "Don't believe your lying eyes."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that video of him shaking the controller, that exists out there somewhere. I watched it. You watched it.
It was on Twitter. It was someone trying to say, look, this kid is so anxious to play the Amico, and Tommy can't figure out how to sync up a controller.
And someone was like, I took all the videos. That doesn't exist. No, it does.
No, we see it there.
We see it.
Someone wrote a blog who was actually fairly positive about the Amico, saying when I tapped the back of a controller where the battery was, it shut off. When he tapped the back of the controller, it shut off. And he was told, hey, the battery just ran out. I doubt that's what was happening. I don't believe it was that coincidental. So,
anyways,
here we are. So Tommy went on the Atari Age forums. Used to be our favorite website. It's now fallen out of grace tremendously. They've reorganized the Intellivision Amico subforum and cleaned house of a lot of critical stuff. Along the way, though, Tommy posted something where it was like, hey everyone, here's all the videos of people playing Amico being happy about it, and please add more of these. And I'm like, why is he doing this? This seems weird. And then it turns out, which I pointed out on Twitter, that he had not informed his investors on the crowdfunding site Republic that this was delayed. This is something these people have to get paid their money back on, this investment. It was nearly 72 hours later that he posts on Republic an update that this is delayed. However, the lead was buried beneath a dozen videos. Incredible. This is the title of this post on Republic. Incredible video from Crayola. More upwards and launch update. He spelled launch wrong, by the way. He spelled it launch without an N. Good old Tommy Grammarly Tallarico here. Awful. And so he lists 12 videos, including some guy who stupidly invested $10,000 into this. That's not going to see a dime of that money coming back, and a bunch of others from the Crayola event. Finally, and I mean finally, at the end of this fucking long post is the same email update about this being delayed. This should have been front and center if you respected your investors and the money and trust they put into you at all. You would not hide this from your investors like this. It's unprofessional. It's callous, and it's disingenuous to say, "Hey, we had this great Crayola event. By the way, we just missed our third delay. We just delayed
release date.
Third release date. We delayed for the third time."
Yeah, Tom Tallarico has no respect for the people whose money he's taking. He does not care about you.
And probably most of the people didn't read that far. This is a huge post.
Yeah. So you look at a post like that. You look at the midnight email. This is a person who is clearly in panic mode.
Oh, absolutely.
This is not a calm CEO, and I don't think he's fooling anyone with this behavior.
And you make it worse by delaying the inevitable. We said for a month and a half, like, why is this delayed yet? Why is this not officially delayed?
I don't know if you saw on Atari Age, they closed the wagons around him too. They changed did you see they changed the name of the topic? The main Amico game, the main Amico forum thread is the Q&A intro with Tommy Tallarico.
They changed it.
They changed it to, I cannot make this up, fun Amico conversations.
So I guess they want to squash any criticism at all.
So the Q&A thread has been changed to something like happy fun times. And
they unpinned it at least. Now it's fun Amico conversations.
Yeah. Fun Amico conversations.
And they got rid of, it looks like, people complaining about the RFID physical media. It looks like that's gone from here. So yeah, they realize this is an issue. Yeah. This is bad. And this is what I'm going to say about the people that enthusiastically, the influencers that helped put on this Crayola event that appeared in the videos. I hope you realize what you were used for. And I do use the word used. You were used, at the end of the day, for subterfuge and camouflage for a delay.
Yes.
To show the investors, hey, look at the Crayola experience. And what this has been used for was to tell the investors, in a roundabout way, hiding it, that there's been a delay. It was used. Your money and time was used to soften the blow of announcing a delay to investors.
And the whole time, he probably told you, I don't know if there's going to be a delay.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll just have drinks together, and we'll have a fun time. You were used. You were all used. You should feel bad about that.
You should be angry.
We're not the bad guys. We're the messengers here. You were used.
You should be very angry about that. No, but I don't care if it comes out. It's the friends we made along the way.
We might be assholes, but we're telling you the truth that you need to hear.
Yeah.
You were used. It's sad. The whole situation is becoming sadder and sadder. This was funny. Speaking of the email, there was an Amicopium video put out. Everyone, basically coming together and sharing their grief about the delay and what it means. Can we come back from this? Amongst some of these people that were at the Crayola event, one of them, the video was taken down because it looked awful, but someone saved the audio and I listened to it. One of the people involved in this...
Looked awful as in production-wise, or it looked awful for Intellivision?
For Intellivision.
Okay.
Especially because at this point, one of the people revealed, he said, just randomly, he said, I don't think I should be doing PR for this. I think Tommy should be having a PR person help put out these emails. The insinuation was, which I think we should take down, was that these lower YouTube influencers are helping construct the emails and do PR for Tommy Tallarico. Like that they're actually being shown the emails and how to write them up. This is insanity. That's insanity. The person said that basically I shouldn't be helping with PR. That's what they said in that video. You have a multi-million-dollar company startup, a multi-million-dollar startup that you're running PR messaging through YouTubers that you're trying to pal around with, or I can't even make a joke about that. You can't even make a joke.
No,
you can't make a joke. This is clown shit going on, but by the person running the company. Supposedly the word is, and we've seen the split. There's now this is great. This is like politics now. There is a Amico faction of the Intellivision team that is like Tommy centric, and the business side that's non-Tommy centric, which is why you've seen the engineer do an interview. You've seen the CFO do the interview. There's now a split of teams now internally, which is always good for a startup, where, basically trying to not have the company rally around Tommy because it's been a disaster, and actually try to do a professional job and get out a product. Unfortunately, you should have cut Tommy off at the knees a year and a half ago. It's now too late. Tommy's the face of the product and is what's the word? Inexplicably intrinsically tied to the product.
Inextricably linked.
Inextricably linked.
Yes.
To the product. You can't undo that. It's done.
It's done. So now you got to sell the Amico and Tommy Tallarico, and that's going to be a hard sell.
They're tied together right now. So it's bad. So they're going to try to do probably another round of funding. That's what the CFO said, to keep the company afloat. We had percentages on this coming out early in the year. Obviously, we were both far too generous on those percentages. Now, I think we were going to start entering the territory of, if this ever is released to the backers at all, I think we're getting to that point where we can start shifting the conversation to that, where it's no longer, well, is this going to come out by spring 2021? Now it's like, is this going to be released next year at all? I think we're going to start having those conversations. You think they'll get something out eventually?
No, I mean, I texted you the other night. I said it was like Thursday or something. I texted
Friday at midnight.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, and I was probably high, just ruminating over things. But I was reading through some of the responses, and what I noticed was a lot of people suddenly started having the realization that we've talked about for a long time. A lot of people who are very into the Amico, who want the Amico, that none of this is lining up with just a parts problem. That this is lining up with a software. This is
general
software
dev,
issues. General
controller issues,
like all sorts of problems. It's not just a parts issue.
The stuff that's been pointed out by people that are reasonable and rational, but okay.
That was the little lie that was told last year when it made sense, and they still haven't been able to get their shit together 1 year later.
Yeah, they weren't hiring firmware devs summer of 2020. It was for accessories they were working on.
Yeah, tons of accessories. Probably like a steering wheel, a fishing controller, whatever. Someone on the Atari Age message board said, "Hey, Tommy, can you make a Pop-O-Matic bubble for it? Wouldn't that be something?"
Yeah, software devs are,
like that's that. Anyway, so I am now at the point where I do still think, based on the type of person he has shown himself to be, Tommy will rush something out.
To like the 10,000 backers or so.
Yeah,
we'll say.
I think if there is nothing, if there is nothing that ships this December, it's dead.
What's going to ship in December?
Well, and that's where I'm going. I don't think anything's going to ship in December. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if he rushed something out, but I don't think it's feasibly possible for him to... all they did was delay ripping the Band-Aid off by 2 months. 2 months is not going to fix this. But it's not going to fix your controller issues. It's not going to fix your game dev problems. It's certainly not going to get your parts and get you into manufacturing.
But they had to be manufacturing now to reach December.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to do anything. So unless they hand assemble 500 units and send them out.
Send them out to the YouTuber influencers, send them out.
Nothing is going out.
They ain't sending them out to real websites like IGN. They're not going to they're not going to send one that Jeff Keighley like Playdate did. It'll get ripped apart. They ain't doing that. So you're thinking they'll send out like a couple hundred maybe somewhere to
I don't think realistically they can. It wouldn't surprise me if they tried to. And either way, I don't see it being good. If they don't ship anything, it's dead.
We don't know if we don't know if the servers are done to log all the high scores.
Yeah, we've been there. Yeah. If they don't ship anything in December, it's dead. People are on their last nerve. I looked through and saw a lot of people who started to show that their faith was cracking.
We said after the third delay, all bets were off, right? We said that.
If they do ship it, someone is going to find a way who's actually even keeled to get their hands on one and it's going to get destroyed because whatever is possible.
In the review, you mean?
Yes, whatever is possibly shipped this December. When I say he ships something, I mean he ships something, anything. I don't think we're actually. It wouldn't be a working system. I don't expect them to have everything in place in the next 5 months.
It would be as
4 months.
It'd be as functional as what you see at the Crayola. You're not maybe connected to the internet at all. It's going to load up the games that are already on it. Sync up a controller that hopefully works.
Here's your 5 Pac-Man games, or maybe they'll surprise announce the 6th one and they'll put them all on there and they'll be like, stay tuned for the shop, and the shop never comes.
And we'll give you a firmware update and a software update when it's available several months later to make it functional.
That never materializes. So I think this is dead. I think this is dead in one of two ways. It's either they don't ship anything and the interest just craters.
That's somehow worse than not putting it out at all, just refunding people their money.
No, I think it is too. I think it's much worse. And I think that's honestly
because you'll have people then they'll get people's money for the full $250 because right now it's $100.
He can't help himself. He's got to show himself.
But at some point, the money people got to say, this is insane. We got to cut this off. We don't have money to run this company anymore. Someone's got to be the adult.
Yes. But I don't see anyone being an adult around town.
Or else would have happened by now. Yes. That's my point.
That's what I'm trying.
Too late.
Yes. It's too late for everything.
Late.
I don't think I think no matter what road this goes down right now, there is no path to success.
It's bad or worse, basically. Right. To me, the worst thing is that it comes out and then you have unfinished product and people are pissed off. I say refund their money and close up shop. That's what I would do. Release the games as software on the Switch. If you got the money into Astro, put the games on the Switch, let people enjoy them, make a little bit of money. You're not going to recoup all your lost money. Put cornhole, make the cornhole for the Switch. You can use the Joy-Con.
Let me buy Choice Provisions Breakout for $5 so I can fucking play it. It's the only thing I want to play it. I mean,
I feel bad for the devs too because we don't know if the devs, from what I hear, they might be locked into something where it has to come out. There's no reason why we can't play that Breakout game on the Switch or on Steam. That looks great.
When I found out that the one thing that I thought the Amico controller could bring to that game, the circle control, wasn't even being worked into it, I was like,
oh really? Did you hear that?
Someone said that wasn't being used.
You weren't using your paddle to do your Breakout game?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Either way, if these devs are unfortunately like Space Strikers, some of these devs are out in Europe. If some of these devs have an agreement that they can't release these games until the Amico version comes out first, then I feel extremely sorry for those devs. They should talk to a lawyer. And if they have a contract like that, they should probably be like, okay, this is not a good faith effort, and this has to run out at some point. We got to put out these games. Yeah, you can't be locked into an ecosystem that might never exist.
I absolutely feel bad for the devs. I don't think I have said before, and I'll say again, I don't think all the games look great, but I'm not here to shit on the devs. We're understanding is that these are either people, from what I can read up on this, these are either people who have been in the industry for a long time and they were in the industry a long time ago, haven't done anything really recently, and they want to come back and make something. But a lot of these seem to be, and again, I don't mean this as to be offensive, no-name devs just starting.
Or young devs.
Young devs, exactly. I am not going to judge the devs' worth entirely on what looks like a bad 5-second game on in the sizzle reel, and I do feel bad for them because I think some of them may have found themselves in situations with their games that are not good for them.
By the way, there was another YouTuber revealed in a video. I forget which one. People feed me this news. I don't have time to watch all these YouTubers. But someone said that
folks strip me the important bits.
There was a really nice juicy bit where one of the YouTubers basically said, "Wow, it's delayed. Well, I knew it was delayed. I was told it was going to be delayed several months ago. I think they mentioned back in like April or May, back when they were getting money from investors on Republic."
Well, I also think that's maybe not entirely true, and I think it's just coping. What they said was, I saw the same thing, was the guy who apparently was still holding out faith for the October 10th release date, when it was delayed, was like, I knew 6 months ago this was getting delayed. Everyone knew 6 months ago this was getting delayed. And in reality, 6 months ago would put it before the second delay. If you do the math, it puts you before the April. It makes no sense. So the person saying they're clairvoyant that it was going to be delayed twice.
So it was Amicopium, which I will trademark that name. So they were coping there. All right. Well, I mean, at this point, I don't know what else we can talk about. There'll be news that comes out. People will get a hold of the physical media and actually There's people now on the Atari forum who are like, why can't we see what the physical media looks like? Why are you holding out on us?
Because they know it's going to land with the excitement of a wet fucking fart.
They don't want an RFID card. They don't. But that's what it's going to be.
They don't. Some of them are going to pretend to tell you that it's okay, and they like the sticker or keychain that you put in there. But no one wants an RFID card. Again, that is absolutely not what anyone wanted when they said they wanted physical media.
Again, you could say all the haters out there.
Hey, Pat Ian, fuck you.
But they're going to try to sell these to collectors who may never potentially be able to redeem them to actually play the games on the console.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. And like clockwork, we said, tired of being right. It's actually not always good to be right almost 100% of the time, that they were going to announce the physical media and then do the delay and hide it afterwards. And it happened like 3 fucking days later. Like 4 or 5 days later. Within a week, it happened. It's tiring. It's tiring. It's also not that it has to be a challenge, but it's just like, come on, man. Can you surprise me a little bit? Throw me a curveball every once in a while?
Well, and it's tiring because unlike some people, I really don't get any fucking joy out of talking about this anymore. It's old, it's boring, I repeat my fucking self. But when, the delay comes, you got to talk about it. Yeah, so I really just want this to end. I would be happy if tomorrow he said, you know what, that's it, we're done, and I never have to fucking talk about this ever again.
That's when the podcast ends, though, when the Amico comes out. We talked about that.
It's fine.
So... This portion of the CU podcast is brought to you by Sheath and their fantastic revolutionary underwear. This is the latest and greatest in undergarment technology. They have the 3-pouch system. So your butt and everything goes into one pouch. And then you got 2 more pouches in here to separate the twig from the berries. This is life-changing stuff for you out there.
Traditional boxer briefs, they're barbaric, basically only good enough for Neanderthals.
Yes.
That's what I say. Sheath has a modern ergonomic design intended to prevent skin-on-skin contact for long-term comfort. No building up of heat and sweat. Sheath prevents all of that.
Whether you're going to the flea market, whether you're working in a game store, whether you're shopping at a store, fitness, staying in shape, you want to keep the thing separated from the legs. You don't want that slapping around. You don't want trauma down there. You don't want heat and sweat and disgusting buildup. Sheath helps with all of that. We have a deal.
A deal.
A deal to get you the best underwear you'll ever have in your entire lives.
Tell me about it.
Go to sheathunderwear.com/CU podcast for 20% off today. That's SHEATH underwear.com/CU podcast. And make sure to use the promo code CU Podcast at checkout, or just click the link below if you're on YouTube. That's sheathunderwear.com/CU Podcast for 20% off. Get this underwear. You won't regret it. You'll keep it all separated and nice with Sheath. All right, Ian.
Yes.
We had another record-breaking video game sale. They're happening every week almost at this point. A Super Mario Brothers sealed went for $2 million. This is not the early print run that appeared on Pawn Stars a couple of years ago. This is not this. This is a cellophane seal one, probably from around 87, that this went for, which makes this kind of strange. Ian, you want to talk about it a little bit?
So what makes it very strange is that it was sold on Rally, which is a
collectible shares investment
nightmare app
site,
similar to Otis, which we have talked about.
Otisburg,
which we have talked about before.
And refuse sponsorship, by the way, for Otis.
Yeah. Definitely refuse that Otis sponsorship. So basically, they owned a copy of this game, Rally, and people bought into it with shares. You buy shares in the game. Then they found a buyer for it at $2 million, and I believe it had to be
you vote on it.
You vote on
as
it.
like stockholders,
right? Exactly. As stockholders, you vote on whether or not to accept that price and sell it,
and you get your payout based on how many shares you have.
So this was sold for $2 million. They agreed to the selling.
According to Sean Cermick, Reserved Investments, it was 75% for, 25% were against this, which is like shocking that it was that high, that you'd be against that.
It shows that delusion is really kicking in for some of these people. You absolutely take that $2 million.
This is a game that 3-4 years ago was probably 4 figures, like maybe several thousand at most, maybe a few thousand because we weren't tracking as much. But to go from several thousand to 2 million is nuts. But then to say, well, this isn't enough money on this investment, and I think I got to say, these are all SEC securities, so you can look up how much they paid for it. I guarantee you they didn't pay $200,000 for that game. I got to find what they actually bought it at. It'll be online somewhere.
So they made something like 900% back on some of those investments.
900%. You want to say, no, let's turn it down.
Which is just insane. So, there's like 900 back on these investments. I mean, my question is, who bought it? Who bought it is what I want to know, because 2 million seems even more ludicrous than the obvious for the 1.5 million that Super Mario got. And the only thing that I can think of is, I can't make the accusation, but I just feel like someone who has a stake in making Rally look good decided maybe I can buy this for 2 million and show people, wow, what can be done.
According to Ars Technica, this one was paid. Someone bought this for 140. So so I'm looking at the article now. So they paid 140 for it last year. So they made back, what is that, times almost 20 times the amount. They made back like 15 times the amount in a year.
Yeah.
And there was still 25% of the people that turned that down. Wow. Thank God that the Riesel people said, yeah, give us our fucking money.
So this is obviously something that Rally wants to advertise
absolutely
as being a huge deal because it makes their business look good, I think, to the layman. But at this point, I'm really starting to wonder, who is the layman? Who is the person who believes that this is actually going to hold up for any length of time?
It doesn't matter, though, because they're making their money hand over fist right now. So it's actually interesting that when you see a lot of this stuff happen, like the record-breaking sales that happen end up benefiting these companies.
Yes.
So, like, of course, Rally wants to say, hey, we paid $140,000 for this, because the higher that you pay for it and announce it, you can then have your shares sold for more money, and then you have other people buy into thinking that, wow, $140,000, I'm going to put my money in. And look what happens. Literally almost 1 year later, they make a, like, what is that, 16 to 17 times return on investment. 16 to 17 times in 1 year. In 1 year, you can't find anything, stocks, index funds, that you'll get anything close to that. That's real estate. You don't usually double your money on stuff. 16 times?
Yeah, it's...
And this is a 1987 copy. Again, this is not the first print. It's not the second print. This is a 1987 copy. This is the copy that I probably owned, or lots of people when they got their NES in 87 probably owned something like this. They try to say, well, it's a special version, only made for a few months. Everyone had a Super Mario Brothers by 1987. Like, that was the year the NES was blowing up. It's the year it was blowing up. No Rev A, hang tab. They try to do all the things like code, round SOQ. They try to do this minutia.
They try to hit you with all these weird trivia and facts to make it sound more interesting.
Wow, this one was only made for maybe 2 or 3 months, we think. And it's like, it's still a 1987 Super Mario Brothers. Yes, it's a 9.8. Yes, it's a 9. It's not the first one. It's not the second one. It's not even the third one, potentially.
It won't be the last one.
No, I mean in terms of print runs.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay, sure, yeah.
We're not talking about first print runs. This isn't comic books, where it's like, yeah, it's Action Comics #1. By the way, with comics, usually people only care about the first print run of comics. They don't care about the reprints. Those Ninja Turtle 3rd and 4th printings, people don't really care about. They want the original.
Yeah.
I want the original. So again, we have people that have bought into this. You have these, and we have a lot of money. We have these companies that are into Otis and Rally. They have lots of money. They are big companies with money to burn. They can take the gamble on top of this to put the money in to prop up the market. And with the help of Heritage Auctions and WADA, it's like, wow, look what these guys are doing. We're going to get into this.
Right.
Before it was sneakers and other bullshit. Now we're going to try this with Super Mario Brothers, and it's worked for them. So good for them. The person that put in $2 million, that's what's interesting, like you said. Since this is an SEC regulated Securities Exchange Commission, all these, I think this would have to be publicly reported who you sold this to.
Right.
So we hopefully will find out who gets this. That'll be some clue to the puzzle. Maybe it's just someone, at this point, you probably have a lot of money coming in where these are not game collectors, obviously. These could be people that have a lot of money to try to reinvest from other things, whether it was meme stocks or crypto or real estate or other collectibles markets that we're going to try this. So I looked up something interesting that I'd heard about, wasn't totally familiar with. It's called an IRS 1031 exchange. I put the little link in there for Investopedia. So what this is a way to defer capital gains when you're investing. So traditionally, this is used for like real estate. So meaning if I sold a house for, we'll just say $1 million, and that was $500,000 profit, if I don't do anything with that money, I get tax capital gains on that profit of the $500,000. This is a way to defer the tax payment if I can show that I put that profit into something else.
Okay.
Push it along to something else.
Gotcha.
Push it, kick the can down the road. So when I thought about a lot of these prices going up, I'm thinking about people that have this money. Okay, I just sold the house. I don't want to buy another house. Obviously, it's hard to move a house. What can I put this money into? Or say I have profits for selling expensive, I don't know, baseball card, the Tom Brady rookie cards or whatever. Where do I put my money into? That's legal, and I can now have a new toy to play with and someplace to hold my money if I don't need it. This is a way to do it. You basically do this 1031. You show the profit from one investment going into another. Now it's locked in there. The IRS can't get you for that until you take the profit out of that or you keep transferring it. And it's a way to build wealth. It's a way to basically just, again, you kick the can down the road for your profits and you take the profits to reinvest to keep building it up. Gotcha. Eventually you got to pay taxes.
At some point you have to pay those taxes.
Maybe not if you keep building it up to something else. So I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but I can definitely picture people putting money in Raleigh or Otis using this, or even some of the people that are experimenting with this new market, or they are speculating. This could be where some of that money potentially comes from. I will say this again. If you ask me for a quote, for one of these articles that covers this stuff, I'm not going to be the person to say, unlike some of my peers, who I respect and like, I'm not going to be the guy to say, well, it's just two people that really wanted it because they want to collect. I don't think it's that simple. This is way too much money for it to be that.
Yeah,
there's not many people out there that
respectfully disagree on that.
There's not many people out there to be like, you know what, Ian, I want to Super Mario Brothers. I'm going to spend $2 million fucking dollars on something that just a year ago I could have bought for $140,000.
Doesn't make any sense.
That even 2 years before that, I could have probably bought for $10,000. You know what I mean? Like, and going back 5 years, I could have bought for $1,000 or a few grand. So it doesn't pass the smell test.
No, it does not pass the smell test. There we go.
It smells funky. You ever get a piece of fish out a couple days?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? I might not want to eat this because it smells funny.
Yeah.
There's no logic to it, potentially like on paper, but it smells funny. And we all know that if you eat that fish, you might get sick. Mm-hmm. Bad case of sushi. So, yeah, I didn't know about the 1031 exchange. I didn't know about it in terms of like you can use it for investments to defer capital gains. So, yeah, and then some people are bringing up like something like money laundering. I don't want to go that far with some of this stuff. I will say this, though. It's a nice, handy way for you at least to, we'll just say, eventually try to hide profits that would be harder to tax if you get into this stuff. Mm-hmm. Private deals for some of this stuff. Say you have $2 million. This isn't money laundering, but say you got $2 million from something laying around. Maybe you got that in different methods. You buy a game. Then maybe there's a private deal that happens at some point. Maybe that money doesn't get reported to the IRS, or only a portion of it does. So there's some tax things going on as well. I think, not to get into the crypto stuff, but a lot of countries are starting to crack down on crypto. China started to crack down on crypto. Where you can originally hide crypto money as a haven for a lot of this stuff, this could be some of the bleeding into collectibles potentially. We're talking a lot people with a lot of money that can be like, you know what? I can't put it into crypto and hold it there anymore, potentially get a profit, or then just hold it. I got to put it somewhere else. That could be some of this going on. I'm not saying for sure, but when you see something this exorbitant in this small amount of time happen, this isn't just a collectibles market. As Ian takes a swig of the Polder, we're past that. This has moved on. This has moved beyond. I'm talking to retro gamers and collectors. This is now out of our hands.
Yeah,
This is not our world anymore. This is big finance. These are people with play money, and these are people looking to gamble as well with that money, to speculate.
Yep.
So I welcome being able to see who the buyer of this is. It'll start to clue you and key you in a little bit into this. And of course, this is going to trickle down, though, unfortunately, into obviously complete in box copies. I have not looked up what complete in box. I have a second print run beat up that I found at Comic-Con of Super Mario Bros. I have no idea if that means that beat up copy is now worth, 10 grand, even beat up. I have no idea. I don't know where this takes it. I don't know if that means people that are coming to Luna saying, "Oh, I'm trading my Super Mario Brothers card. It's got worth at least $1,000, Ian, because one went for $2 million." Like, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We don't know. But it's out of our hands now. We are now stepped over and stepped on for these one percenters. Basically, it's the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah,
that's what happened. We've helped establish a video game collecting community. We put in the decades of work and the knowledge and the research and the support, and this is the end result. We have companies like Heritage Auctions and WADA and other big investment firms getting into it, and it's all for all these people to make this tons of money on it, just to use it as a commodity. It's been hoarded out. It's been hoarded out. That's it.
All right.
I don't think I'm being over dramatic, but I think that's what's happened, and it's only taken like 2 years to do it.
Yeah.
Ian, we got a Patreon.
Patreon.com/CU podcast. You go, you pay, you get. Full video podcast. Writing's about once a week. I should probably do one tomorrow.
Hangout once a month. Maybe you want to do it this Sunday?
Let me get back to you on that, but I think that's going to be just fine. It's going to be just wonderful. And we do these poll topics.
This was the closest ever. I think this happened once before where it was within a couple of votes. 1 vote difference, 50% split. I had to go to a recount. I had to download it. In second place, will computer games ever be as collectible as console games? By 1 vote, it wins. Arcade games you could not beat as a child that others could. Yay, it won!
You're going to start this one.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Okay. Was not expecting that. Not saying you can beat the game, because you can't. But one of my first arcade loves was Spy Hunter, and I played the sit-down cockpit version of Spy Hunter in my good old Spaceport arcade. And as a kid, you're in love with the machine. The synth sounds, it was like stereo inside of that cabinet. I believe it was. You had the cool, what is that steering wheel called where it's not a full circle? I don't know what that called. The buttons on it. And loved that game. Boy, did I get my ass kicked once I got to the second stage, basically, and you had the tire slashers. Boy, was I not good at Spy Hunter at all as a kid. I was like 4, though, but you know what I mean? Like, that was a game that kicked your ass, but it was for the experience. It was probably like 50 cents back then. That was a probably expensive game back then. It was probably not a quarter to do the cockpit version. But as I grew older, had some training with the NES version. When I go back and play the arcade version, I do a lot better than that. I can survive. I know the tricks. I know how to avoid the tire slashers, and I know how to bump off the bulletproof bullies and avoid the limousines, and how to destroy the helicopters with the missiles, and even the boat. The boat section on the NES is horribly difficult. It's actually easier in the arcade, the boat section, which is weird how they did that. The missile launchers on the boats on the NES version, you have to like slow down and stop and let it like come over. It's almost like broken. That part of it, it's a broken game. Broken. So Spy Hunter is one that I definitely could not beat as a child. Others could. Another one was probably Commando. Another one of my early ones. It was the first PC game that was ever bought for me that was legal. Commando, simple to play. Ian. Oh, I love G.I. Joe. I'm 5 years old. Put me on a Commando arcade machine. Run around and get shot up immediately in that game. That game was so quick and twitchy in the arcade when I was a child that I remember almost being so frustrated by that game in particular that I could not get far in that game. Ikari Warriors was the other one I played that I remember being better at for whatever reason, maybe because it was a little bit more slower paced to start with. But I remember playing Ikari Warriors, and honestly, I probably never even twisted the knob. I probably didn't figure out the twisty rotary knob as a kid. I probably just strafed back and forth. Maybe that's what made it easier.
Yeah, Damn, you played it more like a shooter.
Yeah, and I probably did better that way, but obviously I couldn't beat those at all. I'm trying to think of any arcade game that I could quote unquote beat or at least do competently in when I was, we'll say, between 5 and 8 years old. We'll get a little bit older. There probably wasn't many of them, but in terms of competence, it was probably rough. Once you get to like the late 80s, you get to like Ninja Turtles arcade, early 90s, and it's like, okay, I'm a little more dexterity, a little more skill. I can get past those games. Rolling Thunder, as a kid, kicked my ass, but I still was in love with the game. I can get probably, I think, to the end of the first stage or close to it, but not to the end. I'm not going to brag and think I was 6 years old and can beat Rolling Thunder. Oh no, I probably can get to like when you go down the stairs, part,
sure,
which is like halfway through the stage basically.
Yeah,
and then probably dying somewhat after that before you get to the barrels, where they can hide in. That's probably where I got to Rolling Thunder. So that kicked my ass. That's a hard game though. You get one shot deaths. That's a hard game.
Yeah. For me, I'm not good enough at video games to have anything that I can like totally destroy now that I couldn't when I was younger. But
that's not the question though. It's particular. It's just what others could be at the time that you couldn't.
Beat 'em ups. Beat 'em ups were always the games I had trouble with as a kid. I think at some point it came down to the other kids being better at them. Maybe they got more tokens. Maybe they were quarter feeding a little bit more.
Oh, sure.
But I never tried to play beat 'em ups as anything other than it's weird. It highlights some of the weird things about my brain. So I was growing up, I always just kind of played them as they were presented to me. I'd walk up to the characters and start hitting buttons and die, and I'd wonder at how anyone could ever get anywhere in a beat 'em up.
Really?
On one quarter. I was awful at them.
Well, one quarter's tough, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even low quarters or anything like that.
$1.
I loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game as a kid because I was a kid, and of course I did. But I was miserable at it, and I would rarely touch it because I would lose just everything I had. But as I've gotten older, beat 'em ups have actually kind of slowly have started to become the genre I'm maybe the best at. I can, and part of it has been playing so many of them over the past couple of years, and learning how beat 'em ups work and paying attention to like the clockwork, mechanics of the enemies and things like that, and actually just understanding what makes a beat 'em up tick and how to move around and interrupt your attack animations. Maybe you don't always want to go into that third attack because it's going to slow you down. You're going to get hit.
Moving around.
So
stick and move.
Games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Final Fight, definitely, and even like the Streets of Rage games for non-arcade games are all games that I've gotten vastly better at as an adult. And I think the other area where I've really improved is arcade shooters.
Light gun shooters, you mean?
No, like shoot 'em ups.
Oh, shoot 'em ups. Okay.
Yeah. I was miserable at those as a kid. Those to me were games, I mean, until I was like in my early teens, I was like, these are games that just straight up fucking cheat. Like, these are made to eat your quarters, and they are, but learning how to like look at the screen, move around the screen, dodge and play those shooters and get better at them. Still not great at them, but that's probably the most rewarding and fulfilling advancement I've made in games that I was awful at as a kid. I'd watch people play Galaga, for a simple example, and get up to like level 25, and I never could. And now I can do stuff like that. I can 1 credit clear certain shooters. So definitely been improvement in that area. And then one where I wish I had improved more, but I haven't, fighting games. I knew so many kids as that I was growing up with that were way better at me than fighting games. I had a friend growing up who would sit in the arcade and played all the Mortal Kombats and got good enough to beat them all. I mean, even sometimes without...
You couldn't beat Mortal Kombat?
I couldn't beat Mortal Kombat. It does have rubber band AI, but like I couldn't even pretend to do it even with a couple of credits. Whereas I knew tons of people who could. Same with Street Fighter. But as I've gotten older, that is something that I have been able to do.
I remember Street Fighter 2. I must have beat it at some point in the arcade because I'm good at Street Fighter 2. But yeah, I remember the last. He was originally Vega, and Bison being really difficult, even more than Sagat.
Yes.
Really difficult, really cheap. You got to be like really on time with your special moves, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I have made it to Bison many times. I have lost to Bison just as many times
on the original. Not even talking about Champion, like just the original Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2. Yeah.
I forgot to bring up your favorite game, Double Dragon. Boatcraft Amusement Park. I remember playing it, and I was pretty good. I mean, that was one of my. That's one of my top, probably 4, 5, 6 gaming memories early on an arcade. I remember playing it, getting so frustrated. You get like $2 as a kid. That's all you get. You get like 8 quarters.
Yeah.
So I think I just played just that. That's my only memory at Boatcraft was playing Double Dragon. It was amazing to see Double Dragon there when you were like 6 years old, and or maybe 7. And I remember getting far enough to getting to the Machine Gun Willie, where the hell his name is. This fucking wipes you out with those bullets. I remember being frustrated because I don't remember if I beat it or someone else. I think what happened was I ran out of quarters getting up to the last level, and the other guy came in and continued for me and fucking beat it with someone else. And I felt like, but I did all the work. I got the work. But at that point, though, you had it out of the course because like that boss was. I think he ran back and forth and just shot at you like 3 hits, you're done.
Jeez,
you know what I mean? Like those bullets took out a lot.
Yeah, they definitely did.
So I remember those. I remember seeing the ending as a kid, but I did not get the ending. So I think I Dick the Quick Pat was just like, over there.
That happened to me once with Turtles. Actually, I remember playing with friends and I ran out of quarters as we got into the Technodrome. And
that was still only a quarter game. Those games were the 4 games were still a quarter because they realized, hey, we're making our money back on volume.
Oh yeah,
because you got to put in $2 to beat it, and then 4 people. You know what I mean?
That is something I clearly remember. I mean, and I was playing that Turtles game when it was brand new. I remember
89. I played that.
Yeah, I remember that being a quarter game.
I remember seeing that Spaceport, and I was like, what? That's when obviously the movie was coming out in '89. The show had been on. Show had been on for like a year and a half or something. So like right now a year. So like that's when it really blew up. And the show was like '89. That was the year. That's when the toys got more popular, I believe. Was that the first year the toys was 88 or 89? I always forget that. But anyway, so I'm sure we're missing some. You know what? Here's another one. One last one. The regular light gun shooter games. A game like Operation Wolf when you were a kid, you did not have the reflexes, I think, or the aiming. Plus the gun's so big. Nowadays, I could probably beat that game on a reasonable amount of quarters. I probably can do that. As like an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, oh no, I couldn't do that with games. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You just don't. You'd have the skills to do that. That's something, I think when you get older. That's one of the few games I think your reflexes don't matter as much as just like the aiming and strength and dexterity as you get older.
Right.
For those light gun games. Ian, we got voicemails to listen to, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We do got some
Go to
voicemails.
anchor.fm/the CU podcast. And there you get to leave us a short voice message. Some people attempt shtick. I won't try to judge you too much on the shtick there. And here's our first one.
Hello, this is Jethro from Boa Constrictors, the band. Look them up. I was wondering.
Okay, Jethro.
When
He laughed at it.
the CU podcast flashback console's coming out, or the Ian Popsicle Magic console flashback cart with all your classics from your memories.
You're struggling there, Jethro. Okay, well, we're doing a flashback CU console.
Yeah, this is TJ.
Oh, sorry, TJ.
I like the way you shilled your artistic project, Jethro.
Look him up. Okay.
That's about how enthusiastic I usually get about my things. What do? I do a podcast about food. I do a podcast about video games. Anyways, as far as that console, you stay tuned, buddy.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Alex from Winnipeg. Just wondering, what do you guys think is a gaming franchise that is kind of long dead and needs a resurgence, or it's just not as popular and should be a little more in the spotlight? Also, alternatively, what do you think is a franchise that just needs to go away altogether? Love the show, guys. Take it easy.
I always love the franchise that needs to go away. It doesn't affect me as much as I don't like, like Rock Band, Guitar Hero. I don't mind if others do. I just don't. I don't care if others play it.
I agree with that in a way, but as a person who worked in and still does for a little bit while longer a video game store, I could tell you that it's not the Madden that I really want to see go away. It's the Assassin's Creed that I would like to see go away.
Why is that? It's just
too
many games.
I think anyone who listens to this who works in video games will probably works in game retail will nod knowingly when I say this. It's the Assassin's Creed games that take over your fucking shelves.
Because there's like 17
Because
of
there's
them.
one every fucking year, and there's 8 million of them, and they just like the Call of Duty games constantly keep moving through the store, no matter which ones they are. They move.
The
they
Assassin's
sell.
Creed don't. They just sit there.
They sell. The Assassin's Creed games, they sell, but not at the rate that they come in. Like every fucking trade for a 360 or a PS3 that is above 5 games in a stack is going to have an Assassin's Creed in there. I think we have 1 1/4 rows on our racks of just Assassin's Creed games.
All right. What about a franchise that needs to come back?
I'd love to see SSX come back with an actual. So SSX was EA's like extreme snowboarding game. It was bright, colorful, crazy tricks. Loved it. SSX 3 is one of my favorite video games.
I shut the window. Sorry, go on.
Specifically, SSX 3 is one of my favorite video games. It's a joy to play. It disappeared for a little bit, and then they tried to do another one on the 360 and PS3, but they tried to make it realistic, completely like destroying the reason why people like SSX. You don't take a game that is cartoony and weird like Mario Kart and then try to fucking make it straight and narrow. It'd be like if the next Mario Kart was a Gran Turismo game.
Oh, okay.
So SSX, I'd love to see that series come back.
All right, next.
Hello, Pat and Ian. It's Leo from Los Angeles. I have a question for both of you.
Go.
What was the first game you ever beat, and at what age? Mine was Aladdin on the Super Nintendo at the age of 4. All right, thanks again.
Going back to Commando, the Commando PC game, I must have been 6 years old. That I'm trying to think if there was any bootleg PC games I beat before that actually had like a beginning and an end that weren't just like, I definitely didn't beat like F-15 Strike Eagle when I was, 6. I didn't know how to play it. I think I figured that out years later, how to actually play that game, how to fly towards stuff, you know what I mean? And figured out the geometry of all the lines and the altitude and stuff. But probably Commando, I want to say. That was the first one. It's only 4 stages, but I did it.
It's tough for me to think of what it might have been. I really... I really have no idea.
Wow. Okay.
I have always been very bad at video games. I literally don't know what the first video game I actually beat was. I may not have started beating games until I was like 10 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. There was just a listen on shopgoodwill.com, and there was 27 sealed Nintendo games that went off for $30,002. If you had $30,002, would you spend it on the games, or what would you spend it on? Thanks, guys. Great podcast.
So this happened about, like 5-6 weeks ago. My mom brought this up to me. She must have saw a news clipping. This made news.
Really?
I think this was on one of the Good Morning America shows. I might have done something like this. Yeah, we talked about it when it happened. There was a listing that happened.
Yeah. I didn't know that it was on like.
My mom mentioned it. She's like, yeah, I saw this about a thrift store. I said, yeah, Mom, that was the Goodwill. She said, no, it wasn't that. I was like, no, Mom, that was it. I followed this stuff. It was a Goodwill.
I promise.
Yeah, I promise you, it doesn't get past me. Yeah, there was like a Metroid in there. There was some other games. It was like an eclectic mix of stuff. And so, would you spend your money on that?
No,
to flip it or no?
No, absolutely not. I would.
Ian's not a flipper. Ian's not invest a lot of money and then hopefully get a gain on that. Type of guy.
No, I'm not. I've said this before. We've had similar questions. At this point in my life, all I really want to do is travel and eat, and that's what I would spend that money on. You want to do the travel and eat podcast with Pat? You want to go to Japan? We'll start with Japan. No, I'm going to Japan with Vonnie.
I'll tag along. You won't see me. I'll buy a seat right behind you. I'll put on my disguise, the glasses, nose,
and a mustache.
I'll just start filming videos impromptu. I'll be like, hey, it's me and Ian here. And I'll be like, Ian like 30 feet away, like looking at, Japanese seals. Do they have seals in Japan? No, I don't think they have seals there. Okay, what's next year?
Hey, this question's for Pat. This is Ed from San Diego.
Hey, Ed.
I was hoping you could provide all of us listeners out there a nice handy list of all the musical references that you make on the podcast. For example, you've got Drop, you've got
Beastie Boys. Come on.
Yeah.
That's Drop. I don't have it on here anymore.
While.
It's been a while.
That's
That's
Stained.
Stained. Come on.
It's been a while.
Ew, you got rid of Drop for that?
Drop was too long to get there. Yeah.
Evolution.
Evolution is the it was a WWE. It was Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Batista, and Triple H. That was their theme song by the guy who just died a couple years ago, Lemmy from
Motorhead.
Motorhead.
You've got Lately.
Lately, did you ever hear a thing? I don't know who sings that.
That one
song.
I don't know.
That was a 90s sucked for music, by the way.
Which I really have no idea where that one comes from. And if there's any other ones that I'm forgetting,
I'm sure you are, Ed, but that's about it.
You're the one who mostly makes those references, but I do just want to point out that Wholehearted by Extreme has been a song that I have sang on this podcast twice now. And
it's
a genuine.
I go to that's a good song.
No, there's a hole in
that
my
one.
heart. I love that song. I just came to the conclusion the other day. I was like, damn, I like that song. I love that song.
Was that late 80s?
It's by Extreme. I think it's 91 or 92.
Yeah, you
I
still
could
have
be
some
wrong.
80s sensibilities bleeding into the early 90s there. You bring that up because it wasn't mentioned?
I just wanted to point. I was just thinking about music references and the fact that I really like that song.
Oh, okay, Ian. Good for you.
Well, I've made the reference twice.
Okay.
It's a music reference on the podcast.
Okay.
Patrick.
You feel jealous that you were left out of that question.
No, I don't. I was thinking about Wholehearted.
Sure. Okay.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Aaron from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
Longtime listener, first-time caller.
You're not calling.
I've been rewatching the video game years, and I noticed a certain Mr. Tommy Tallarico. I had completely forgotten he had been involved with the show. So I was curious if the feud runs deeper than we know. Was he difficult to work with going back that far? Is his current behavior no surprise at all? Thanks. Keep up the good work.
It's fun when people say you worked with this person on video game years. They were literally hotel room interviews.
Yes.
With so those interviews took place. They were July 2012 Classic Game Expo. The only time I ever went to them. I was still I quit my job. I quit my job that summer. So it was like right after I quit my job. It was like that July. I quit my job 9 years ago. My awful fucking job.
Wow.
So that weekend we interviewed, it was Granddaddy John D'Elia, the Retroware Daddy. Lance was there.
Retroware Daddy.
Game Chasers were there. I was there. And a couple other people. And it was like 3 days in Vegas. It was hot as balls. I mean, it was like 115 degrees. It was hot. And so we rounded up people to interview. I personally interviewed Howard Phillips. So when you see that, I did that interview, which was I had to keep my composure because it was like, that's the only time I was ever starstruck was meeting Howard Phillips. Seriously. It's the only time I was ever starstruck at all was meeting Howard Phillips. But and then Keith Robinson was interviewed by John, as well as David Crane, as well. I think Lance helped as well because he appears in there. Chris Kohler was there. Bob Mackey. We rounded up everyone that weekend, but I didn't do most of the interviewing. I forget if I did Chris Kohler or not, or part of Chris's. I think I might have done Chris's and Howard Phillips. I think I might have done those, but I'm not positive. And then Tommy Tallarico was interviewed by John. And I met Tommy briefly. The thing I hear about Tommy is that he never remembers people. Like he kind of knows people who doesn't remember meeting him because he's made up lies about meeting me. That was actually the first time I met Tommy. I met him briefly. He came in the room. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" and whatever, and just left. And then so I did not work with him, quote unquote. When you say work with people in video game years, it's interviews, So there you go. Who knew that Finger Cage? We
Finger Cage
with adoration. We used to say Finger Cage.
Tommy Tallarico
For years.
Cage. Yeah.
And then things went sour.
Things went south.
He not just ruined a system, he ruined the Finger Cage
Yeah, he did.
reference. He really did. We don't do it anymore. We used to do it every once in a while out of just fun.
Hello, Pat and Ian. My question is,
Okay.
who is your favorite Peanuts character and why?
Oh, God.
Josh, I love you, Josh. That could have been 4 seconds, not 14 seconds.
The answer could also be 4 hours, so I'll try to keep
give
it
me
to
one
just
or two.
a
Give me two.
couple minutes. Snoopy genuinely is a character that I love because he's fucking weird. You look at the 50 years of it, you look at him constantly taking on different personalities. He does not like people, but he's constantly trying to be people. It's weird. I think he's trying to figure out people the entire time that you read that comic.
You can see that's why Watterson adored Charles Schulz. You can see some of that influence in Calvin Hobbes.
I also always really liked the Marcy Peppermint Patty dynamic, and it
was a weird dynamic because she was a tomboy, right? Peppermint Patty, but they were still kind of by the hip, but they had really different personalities.
Well, Marcy, Marcy was very dry and snarky to Patty's boisterous and loud personality.
But they still somehow got along.
Yeah. And I like Linus. I like Linus a lot too.
I like Linus.
Linus is full of problems himself, but he's always trying to be the voice of reason.
Well, that's what you want out of a character right there. I would do a few more here.
Hey, Pat and Ian. First time, long time. I guess this is mainly for Pat. How do you deal with the anxiety of letting strangers into your house, from people doing maintenance or cleaning to dating and one-night stands? Additionally, when is a good time to bring up your collection in a new relationship? Have you ever had any woman just nope out? Thanks.
Well, I don't think bringing a date home or doing a one-night stand would end up in the game room. That's one of the reasons I got Castle Country, was to keep that shit sequestered away from the normies of society. You know what I mean? When I have someone over, like when I refinanced earlier in the year, you have to have someone do an appraisal. It's a screw job though, because the bank hires and the people doing the mortgage hires the appraisal. The appraisal came in like $300,000 lower than what the house is worth. Whole other conversation. I'm not mad at all. They fucked me on an eighth of a percentage point. Anyway, so having him come in and be like, oh, this is interesting. And you're like, yeah, you don't think they're going to take something. They'd have to have knowledge of what to fucking take, first of all. It would be like me walking into, I don't know, a depression glass. That's why my mom likes a depression glass collection. I don't know what's worth money. I don't know what to do with this shit. And since we're like knee deep in this, so we think other people know what this shit is. They don't. They have no idea. Oh yeah, I played that when I was a kid, and that's where it usually starts and ends. They don't know that a game on the shelf there is worth like $3,000. They don't know what peekaboo poker is.
Right.
They have no clue. They wouldn't know what to start. They'd have to have had advanced knowledge. Unless I see a guy go on his phone, unless I see a plumber like go in my room, like go on his phone, oh, most expensive video games, and then figuring out which ones to pick off the shelf, and finds a magical chase. That's probably not going to happen. It's more about the people that know it. That like I talked about, like at my condo, I'd have a couple people over that like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I would not do that today. I would not have mostly strangers over,
right?
To like do a game trade. That would not happen anymore. Then what was the other part of the question that I was going to comment on? Oh, there was a woman back in the garden apartment days that you can see in my early NES Punk videos, like the great ones with Allison, like Panic Restaurant. The shelves were out in the open in the living room, because we're talking a garden apartment. There's like 4 rooms: kitchen, dining room, living room, and bedroom. That's what it is. It's a 1-bedroom apartment.
Sure.
It was roomy as hell though. It was great for what I was paying with my own washer and dryer. It was fantastic. But it's a 1-bedroom. If you have a 2-bedroom, you can have that shit there. Like my condo was a 2-bedroom. So there was one girl I went on 2 dates with, and I think we came back briefly to my place the first date, but either way, in the second date, and they were fine dates, we came back, and she looked around, she looked at the shelves, and maybe this was her out, or maybe she was like on the fence, but it was a second date, so the first date went well. She looked around the shelves, and she said, wow, this is some 40-year-old virgin stuff. And the 40-year-old version had come out probably like the year before. When did that come out? Like 2006? That was 15 years ago? That's what blew up Steve Carell, that movie, right after Daily Show.
Yeah.
2005. So this probably happened 2006, 2007. I moved to my garden apartment in 2006. She said that. I'm like, I thought, yeah, I'm not seeing her again. But most of the other women that saw that stuff were like, cool. They're like, oh, I remember playing Duck Hunt. It also wasn't the volume of this, though. It was literally just the 2 shelves. We're talking like I had 1/5 the game collection. Not 1/5, 1/20th the game collection I had now. 1/20th was the size of my game collection back in New Jersey 15 years ago.
Sure. Yeah, it couldn't have been nearly.
I only had like 500 NES games. I have several thousand games now, like several thousand. So I don't even know how many games I have. I never counted it, but it's probably 4,000 to 5,000, something like that. Ian's like, damn, that's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe 4,000. So anyway, what was I saying? We'll do two more. Two more.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
This is Bob, and I'm calling to ask you guys' opinion on Intellivision Amico physical release games.
They're not physical. I'll just cut you there, Bob. They're not physical. They're RFID cards. They're hiding it for whatever weird reason.
You can call it a physical.
It's a physical product, which is what they probably said legally. We can't call it physical media.
It's not physical media. It's not on there. It will not allow you to play the game after the servers go down.
No.
End of story. As we've said, I think the most that we can expect to be wowed by this is if there's no license restrictions on it, basically. So you can use it time and time again, take it over to a friend's house, essentially resell it.
Yeah.
Which would open it up to some amount of piracy, but I think that they may be willing to accept that so they can say they've got some sort of gotcha that's never really been done.
But then you have to find another person in your state that has an Amico. So good luck with that.
Right.
I mean, yeah. And we'll do one more. Speaking of Amico.
Well, guys, it looks like you were right about our third delay with the Amico. Congratulations. I was trying to stay optimistic, but you and all these negative Nancys I got working for me just had to go and kill the whole vibe I got going here. But it's not my fault. I had them all ready to go, and they were stolen. It was the same guy who had all those PS4s in that warehouse. You know, Vinny Shabnamagurgle, whatever his name is. I leave the gate open for 5 minutes to go get my Papa John's, and all of a sudden I come back and boom, they're off to the Ukraine, just like that. Sucking up electricity with those LED lights, mining cryptocurrency for Vinny Shabadoo McGuffin. I tried to go to the cops about it, and they were laughing at me. They thought I made that name up. They said, Tommy, all the guys on the force got a lot of respect for you for doing that oof sound in Roblox, but you're on your own here, buddy. But I'm not on my own, okay? I got the Amico Mafia. You'll all be hearing from us real soon. Arrivederci.
Oh, no. Wow.
Oh, no.
Tommy.
Not Arrivederci.
Wow. You're going East Coast Italian on us now. Wow. You're bringing out the Italian. Woo. That was an action-packed 1 minute.
That was.
There.
Wow. It's like a really good movie where you're like, wow, that was a 2.5 hour long movie. I thought it was 20 minutes. That was like 20 seconds.
That was you had a pizza drama, you had theft,
Yes.
you had a veiled threat from an Amico Mafia. We were getting pulled along for the ride. We laughed, we cried.
You've got the boys in blue.
Yeah, the boys in blue you're talking to. Oh wow, that could be one of my personal favorites.
That's definitely up there.
That's up there. That's a top 3 right there. There's probably been like what 13 or 14 so far.
Yeah.
At least. All right. Is that it for the See You podcast? We're done.
That's it. It's one.
It's Wednesday. I got to get this out today. I'm not streaming today though, so I'll be good. We'll see if I have plans tonight. We'll see if I have someone coming over and scoping out my games. No, that's not even like a 12th date thing. That's like you keep that as long as possible from someone. The game collection. You having a fun Wednesday? You gonna
I disagree with that. I feel like you got to do that right off the bat.
Got to pull the Band-Aid off.
Got to pull the Band-Aid
Got to
off.
see what shock and awe. See if they can take it.
Religion, basic politics,
video games,
having a baby or not, and you should probably get into the hobbies. You should probably discuss the hobbies.
What, baby first date? Like
No,
really?
not first date. I'm just saying these are things that you got to talk about quickly.
I don't think hobbies is as quick if it's not out in the open. If it's not like a lifestyle. If your hobby's not a lifestyle.
If you don't talk about it, though, then they wonder, why are you hiding it? It's a hobby. You should be happy about your hobby and share it.
Well, I guess there's a difference between saying I like and collect old video games where I have a whole room and a half full of them. You know what I mean? Like that's like there's stages. I think you got to like ease them into that part. If that makes sense. No?
No.
Okay, then I'm just crazy.
Respect your time.
Okay.
Figure it out quickly.
Well, with my ex, always thought it was okay, but never didn't question. Sometimes question the insanity of going to the swap meet early a lot, especially when
I would question that though too.
But that's you can't.
You also
separate-
don't really do that much anymore.
Oh, the book that ended that real quick. I didn't have the energy, so that ended like 2016. Going to it regularly, that's when it ended, for sure. I haven't been to the swap meet now in like 5 months.
Wow.
Trying to get there with Frank again. There's about, by the way, on this outro, there's about 12 left to edit. I'm not going to squeeze them down into 50. There's about 12 left, and we'll probably do like maybe a final run of like 2 or 3 at the end potentially, like just to see, I don't want post-pandemic when masks are gone. Maybe it'll be too depressing to end it down. But there will be a final episode of Flea Market Madness that'll probably come out within a couple of years. It's going to end. So, but that said, though, the podcast is ending. Yeah, bye. Happy birthday, Ian.
Thanks.
Where is it?